from Miami. Kathleen, good to have you. So you said on Twitter, one of the first red flags you noticed is that you actually knew more about SBF than you knew about the business. Walk me through that, this idea that maybe his character, his persona overshadowed the actual work.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you just had the CEO of Binance on, which is, of course, or was, of course, FTX's largest competitor. Binance came onto the scene in a very aggressive way, similar to FTX in 2017, 2018, except they actually had some novel approaches. They were fast to sign people up. They had a token associated with trading discounts. And, some of the things that they do, I don't know, I'm not an exchange operator, seemed innovative compared to the rest of the market. With FTX, it was really just about Sam, this vegan son of two law professors, and oh, isn't he so clever? But there really wasn't that much moving the needle other than extraordinarily aggressive deal terms that they kind of went in on with their venture arm in particular.
It's interesting. I spoke to one of the editors at Fortune, the crypto editor of Fortune yesterday, who said he missed it too. He said he was charmed essentially by SBF, which sounds a lot like sort of similar what you're saying, that this persona was sort of, I don't know, nerdy in a way that was really appealing. But I'm curious, what questions were not being asked that could have perhaps led to a different outcome?
Oh, well, I think honestly, what we're seeing right now, what's coming out through all the different audits of FTX, is that in a sense, this is the most poorly run exchange, perhaps in the history of cryptocurrencies, which is a very competitive category. And basic things like having proof of reserves would have mitigated this, but really just any sort of accounting measures that would have ensured that people weren't dipping into the piggy bank of customers' reserves would have been a basic due diligence question. What's very odd about this is that for the longest time, venture capitalists were actually quite wary of cryptocurrencies in particular, and so you had specialized VC funds prop up. FTX is notable for receiving about $1.8 billion in venture funding over the last 2 years from some of the biggest names who really were reticent to get involved in the space beforehand. And so one would think that that would translate into more aggressive due diligence, but it seems to have been the opposite. They all went, to use a crypto term, FOMO, fear of missing out.
Well, and that's a great point, because one thing that I've thought about recently over the last few days is why didn't the larger players catch it? Is it that they were just so mesmerized by the idea of making a lot of money, or were they too just enamored with SBF?
Well, I do think that this is also a byproduct of the mainstream media basically holding up Sam as an example of something who was someone who was respectable. Poor Brian Armstrong gets pilloried for almost everything that he does, but SBF seemed, by Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX, seemed by contrast basically bulletproof in terms of the way that he was portrayed. And so I do think that had a bit of an impact on the perception of him as I guess a sure bet. And then there was a lot of, I guess, mythology around him, namely that he was a billionaire before, the age of 27. He was the most aggressive billionaire or person who received a billion before Mark Zuckerberg even. So there was a lot of oh, well, this is clearly the smartest person in the room. And, basically you can be very clever, but alas, accounting measures are what's more important for a business.
Yeah, and perhaps a good example of the dangers of groupthink. Kathleen Breitman, thank you.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
Thank you.